functional. Are you liking it then, Aniji? This Rain World DLC? Okay, we're going to need 8 of these because we are rendering around ourselves. We are going to have a method that we're going to call into to do this. Okay, so we have a... Oof, careful there, Sky. We have a plus and minus 30. Yeah, let's go clockwise. It'll bother me. For some reason, it'll bother me. Well, if we're doing 2 full ahead, we might as well do 2 full ahead. Or 40. It's 40. It's 40. Could use some sort of like iterative enum if I wanted to here. But, you know, let's not be too fancy. Okay, so it's going to render all around. There's some excess rendering going on while we're doing this. Oh, no. No, no, no. This is not where we want to do that. Oopsie doopsie. This is rendering our current space. Like, when we do this, like, this is our current coordinate. We don't want coordinate. Stop here so that it stops processing that. Okay, so when we are calculating center tile here, this is the part that we want to retarget. So we have multiple center tiles that we're calculating. So if we pass something into it, we do this. Or return. Yeah. We do function as vector UI. Oh. It returns a vector2i object. Okay, this is the set red. And then we're going to say get center tile. Very messy, very messy. From that, essentially. Okay, this sets our current position red. This sets all adjacent ones. Let's do one more for the current one. Again, this is really gross overkill, but we hit the halfway point, and it will render everything up above. So as soon as we hit the center of one, we jump ahead. We're not quite getting it. We're getting up and down is a little off. Are we still doing anything directional? Shouldn't matter that we're heading down at all. Yeah, like this one's not filling in. I'll change this to a constant in a moment. Okay, this is about right. That's the dangerous one down there. The diagonal calculation is a bit tricky. Yeah. We're getting spotty results in some of the space. Why would it not hit that one at all? All right, there's some places where the calculation is skewed. Yeah, it's the up left can be a little off. Up left is when both are negative. And in particular, the up is too far. So what could be going wrong with this one? Look at get center tile. Essentially truncate it. Okay, let's run, and then we're gonna go just straight left here. We're going to go a little down. How about a little up? Further up. Okay, where are we? So this should result in a center tile of like -80. That we're in. We should be in that one. Let's brute force this here. To I. Currently in. So clean it up a little bit. Just purge them all out at once. Six, 7, 8. So int equal to 20. Using 20. We're using 20. 30, I think. Let's use 20. Okay, so center up minus y offset. X offset. Y offset. Lower right. Up center. Left. Left. Center. Right. Wait. Yeah, top center. Upper right. Right center. Lower right. Bottom center. Lower left. Left. Okay, we need one more because we have 9. This should clean it up a little bit. Definitely not going to happen there. Well, because I wouldn't bribe somebody to sub, and because, you know, I don't exactly support Roblox. There are practices of... It's as much the economy that surrounds Roblox, the development economy, and... I'm sorry. Roblox's target demographic skews very largely minor. And the development environment and the popularity around it has created the impression amongst a lot of people that they can get involved with Roblox mods and like mini games and make lots of money. But it has led to very predatory development practices where people will effectively recruit minors to do the code for them and then, you know, not reimburse them in any way comparable to what they're doing, even setting aside labor practices. And the company has a bit of a reputation of not doing anything to stop it. I am making a little game. I am attempting to figure out what else I need to do to get the map loading to work how I want it to. Hey there, Sevens. Welcome, welcome. I was just explaining to Quandale here. There are 3 different streams running. I have a Twitch stream. I have 2 different YouTube streams running this at the moment. So if I am speaking to somebody you can't see in chat, that's why. Lunar, this is essentially going to be Vampire Survivors, but with the Nyanite creatures from back in the day. From the little catbots. You can't see it very clearly, but that's a catbot moving around. I'm using super zoomed out. Super duper zoomed out. Okay. So that upper right seems working. All right. So now we've got that centered tile. Now we're going to do a method for rendering the tile now that we can get it. Funk. Yes, Lunar. Yep, those cats are snoozing. They're pretty much all snoozing. So let's switch over to cat cam a moment so I can show you. The big fluffy gray and white one that's taking up most of a camera is Sky. The little buff and white one with you know, tan and white splotches is Sherbet. The gray and orangish one all curled up is Ember. The buff, the other one that's tan but with more regular patterning into it is Mason. And then the little tuxedo, you can see a little bit of white on her, is Sammy. There be 5 cats. But yes, tile spawning logic, Lunar. It's going to be one, 1080p screen worth of tiles in every direction. So you should always have a full screen rendered in a circle around you, like an extra full screen. That and even moving very, very fast, that should be plenty to render. Right now, I've got it moving way more than than I necessarily think the player would move, or like the maximum speed. That's pretty much it, Lunar. Is the general idea is eventually going to be catbots sent out, and with increasing opposition to them. With it starting out that there is no opposition to them. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Quandale. Tiles. That would be the thought, is initially it's just a game of tagging essentially houses. And then once enough has passed, like generally it would be just thematically to get you the first weapon. And as soon as, like one level worth of just tagging buildings, then it would be a matter of there is opposition and you're tagging buildings while the weapon is defending it. It would be possible to have something like YouTube in place of the code box. Como, we are coding a little Survivor style game. I definitely wouldn't put somebody else's channel on my channel there, Quandale. That'd kind of defeat the purpose, don't you think? So we're now proceeding to we're trying to fill in the world maps. The red tiles are just showing me my path. And I am zoomed way out to in order to see where I'm going. The gray tiles will be the center of a map tile, which I'm now going to try to fill in. Okay, so we have 'Once we get the point where it's going to be playable, Quandale, I will probably put it somewhere that it is accessible so that people can mess with it. Okay, so we have 13 top to bottom rows. And then each row would be 20 across. Yes. Those are cat cams there, Como. And I am definitely willing to stop and show off the camera array. Probably not the admin, Quandale. I have 5 cats, so I try to keep at least one of them on camera at all times. And hey there, Brianna. Welcome, welcome. We're doing some programming today. I don't do any VR at the moment, Quandale. I don't have any 3D rendering capabilities just yet. We're about 2 hours into what is normally a 3-hour stream, Brianna. You will not have missed plot or anything. So happy you could join us regardless. But happy you could join us regardless. Okay, so... by 21. This is actually a 2D model, Quandale. Live 2D is a framework that can make 2-dimensional images look very 3-dimensional. That's for testing only, Lunar, but that is something that will eventually be different. That could eventually be a wake of destruction or what amounts to like creep, you know? Reminder, I am streaming on 3 different streams right now. There is a Twitch stream and a YouTube stream that are in 16.9 or by 9 ratio, and a YouTube stream that is in 9 by 16 ratio, so that you can watch in whatever format you'd like. Okay, so... We're going from upper left to lower right. Then left edge is should be -10. I think we're thinking in similar directions, though, Lunar. I think we're thinking in similar directions. The edge is -6, I think. Yes, yes. Okay. So, for what's the syntax for this? Iteration. doesn't seem like what I'm looking for. Newt is the name that I generally go by. For the screen handle, Mechanist is a title. Newt is the name. Wait, did I do that? I think I said that right. Newt is the name, Mechanist is the title. Yes. Scenes, language, GD script. Mechanist is an archaic profession. It is essentially a person that works with machines. More modern, it would be a mechanic. We're programming a game. We're trying to. So here, let me reset the zoom here. We're going to try to make a game like Vampire Survivors. The color squares are just for debugging purposes. The little guy in the center is going to be the crux of it. So, Survivors style games is kind of like saying Souls-like, but it is a game where creatures swarm on from the edge of the screen, and the central character automatically attacks them, and you just hold out for as long as you can, usually getting upgrades and what have you. So again, like Vampire Survivors, like Hollow Cure, that kind of thing. Okay. Looks like Mason left camera. I don't see where he went. Let me guess. Shot in the dark, but this is one of the places he likes to go. Yep, there he is. He has moved to the second cat tree. That's audio looping. About iteration. Okay. Well, expression. Okay. So that's 0 through. Okay, so we do for I in. Okay. I've never done Godot script before prior to starting this whole endeavor. So I will be consulting references now and again. He's all loafed up. Okay, so 13. this. In range. J is range 13. That is in range 21. 21. Colon. So if J is equal to 12 or I equal to 0 or I is equal to 20. It's a terrible switch, but a full robot. I am the proto Nyanite, the first model of the Nyanite robots, which replaced the Catbot that was originally made by Catbot Corporation. As part of the start of the Nanotype line, I was given completely consensual control of the Catbot Corporation factory and have been running it since then in a manner that is totally safe to humans. Totally safe. Everybody's fine. Normally 0. It is an int. Zero. Cell. Nanotypes don't poop. It's a sanitation feature. Anything that a nanotype would consume, and they don't need to, would be filtered through their nanoblood, which would dissolve it completely. I can operate a factory and handle the manufacture and the distribution of new Nyanite-style catbots and non-prototype nanotypes. But otherwise, the nanotypes are just designed to be household helpers and adorable and approachable by all ages and genders. What, Quandale? If it's not apparent, I like my own soundtrack. So then tile to paint. I mean, you can feel free to try, Quandale. Though Tass is correct. I am known to decide at a random time in the middle of the day that something needs to be done, and it needs to be done immediately, no matter how much effort it's going to take. And if there is a statement that you'd like to make or something that you'd like to ask, you can feel free, Quandale. As I said, if you would like to guess how old I am, you can take a shot. I feel quite confident you'll be wrong. And you are. Well, I feel like your guess is going to be an informed one, Okami. Would it be? Oh man, how much time has passed? So it's a bit of a trick question, folks. The proto-nanotype body is one age, and the mental engram that was obtained in an entirely consensual and non-destructive manner from the original lead researcher of the factory, who is now retired and completely cut off contact with the outside world, is a different age. I actually have some there's some introduction to the world and the story videos on the channel, if you would like. Shameless and seamless plug. Okay. I was doing a thing. Okay. So coordinate x minus 10 plus I. Yes. I y 6j. Targeting tile to paint, and we're going to use tile to use. was the... There was a culture that believes... So, you know, it's common that people refer to time as being behind you. There is a culture that believes that time is ahead of you. And it's ahead of you because you can see it. You can look into your past, but you can't look into your future. So your future must be behind you where you can't see it. J is equal to 6. I don't know. What are you thinking, Quandale? I could put this in yet more or, like or and an end. Okay, this should make the center and the edge red and the rest of them gray. Because I definitely did this perfectly. Let's restart it. Oh, wait. I have to actually use this function. Like so. How did I learn coding like this? A great deal of practice. Aha. Yeah. All right, let's hop back in real quick here. We go into our UI, we go to our camera, into E mode, click our camera, set our zoom to 0.1, and we don't press that, we press this. Look at it go. All right. We got world map generation going. So what I would do instead of iterating over it, filling the tiles like this, is I would then go in and check if the tile has already been filled. If the tile's been filled, don't mess with it. If the tile has not been filled, I would consult a stored entity of some kind. So either a predefined world map, because Newt is a neat name. That's it. I first encountered it in from Aliens. The little lost survivor girl. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So now we have center squares that can be translated out. That will be potentially the next thing that I consider, Lunar, is creating a queue, a rolling queue, not a queue. It'll be a rolling list, you know, where you add to the front and you crop off the end. I think it's a list. It's a reverse queue. Anyway, where whatever tiles that I have painted go on the front, and anything off the end falls away, but the trick will be not chopping the tiles that I've just added. So something like that, you know? Maybe I'll make a hash of them, too. Making a hash of the whole thing. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is we can create another entity. Go into the game world and we're going to add another thingy. Character body 2D. Is move this camera over to it, but I don't necessarily want to make the camera an intrinsic part of player. So it will have a sprite 2D on it. I'm going to call this a mob. This the mob sprite. Save the branch as a scene. And new folder. Save it as mob, and then we go into mob folder. We open up the mob. Into the mob sprite, and we're going to check our art assets. The blob, is that there? Blob is an actual sprite, so we need to there's one vertical frame and 6 horizontal frames. So then if you look, it animates as long as I iterate the frame from 0 to 6. I'm 0 to 5, but you know. Let's see. I am a very picky eater. I like some kinds of noodles. I like a lot of fast food. I consider there to be a sufficient variation in quality of fast food that I'm picky. Let's see. Noodle-wise, I kind of like instant ramen and variations thereof. I like to put cheese on it. Some kinds of fried chicken. Pizza, but the sauce can't be sweet. Same with like spaghetti and like, I don't like sweet sauces. Okay, so then we're going to attach a script to you. Doesn't need gravity. Doesn't need any of this for now. They do. They do. There are sauces that have like essentially more sugar-like additives to them. I prefer like with marinara sauce to be spicy. I've encountered a couple of pizza places that have very spicy sauces, and I really like that. You know, we're not talking like, you know, hot ones, wing sauces, spicy. Just that sort of like, you know, that sort of black to red pepper kind of vibe. Just a little bit. Yeah, like, Pizza Hut is prone to very sweet sauces. What did I do in the player script for the animation? Okay, that's in that. Okay. Hello, Sherbet. Oof. Sherbet requests attention, so he has climbed up on the back of my my headrest. And he must now get intensive scratches. He'll stand in the back of the headrest and want me to pet him. And then if I pet him enough, he kind of flops over between the back of my head and the chair rest. I gotta kind of hunch down, you know? He's a little sweetheart, but he's also the hardest to trim the claws of. So he has full-on murder mitts. Sammy is second most difficult. I can only trim her claws if she comes to sit on my lap. And then I can sometimes I can get both paws, but she is ready to run as soon as she gets the opportunity. And then she'll be upset with me for at least an hour after that. Okay, so we're going to use the same logic here. Save that so we don't forget. Seconds passed. Okay, so there will be a failure in their player sprite, so we also need ready. In ready, we're going to make a variable sprite as sprite sprite 2D. Then in ready, mob sprite is equal to $sign mob sprite. Take mob sprite and we slot in player sprite. And it will be mod 6 in the same way, but we don't need current animation because it only has one. So then if we go back to the scene, and I think we can run this scene. You can see him animating up there. Yeah, it's just Nightbot is just a precaution, just to remind people some of the rules, you know. It doesn't target anybody in particular. So if you see Nightbot, it's not talking to you when it lists the channel rules like that. Does the rewind power include a preservation of the entire preservation of my consciousness and memories as I know them? Then rewind. Rewind all the way. I mean, copy-paste is quite a powerful thing, but the ability to essentially get away with anything that I want and be able to do anything that I want, especially if it's a subconscious operation, something that I can definitely do at any moment, regardless of what's going on, then you're effectively invincible. I mean, there's ultimately a limit on it. Eventually, you will run into circumstances where you want to go forward, and if you want to preserve access to what you have once you go forward, then that needs to be your current reset target, you know? I mean, you know, being an eternal robot also gives you a lot of leeway there. So, doubly advantageous. If you never age and never die of natural causes, then the ability to rewind is absolutely the choice. Okay, so we have the mob there. Let's put a mob in the game scene where we have it there, and then we are going to find it. Where is it at? Oh, it does not have a shape. Let's get that collision shape in there. And it is a circle, I think. Yeah. Let's take the sprite. Let's bump its frame forward a little bit. Here. Let's make that a capsule. Let's move the sprite up on its 0, 0. So let's get its frame all the way back down. resting position like that. Let's put that. Up. Such hassle. Animate him all the way out. So this is about the bottom line, this pink line now. Go all the way at the top of a bounce. It's a little taller than it is right now. So then we take the sprite and we run it back down. Widen the capsule out a little bit. It is a slime, yes. Now, if this were a fighting game, I would want this to be a much tighter fit. Almost think this needs to be a square, huh? Let's make it a square. There. When it animates, it'll just be cosmetic. Lock, so we can move it around freely. Go to the games. Go to sprite. We scale that up to 6x. Now we're going to have to redo that. Forgot about this. There we go. I think it's because they usually bounce, Lunar. That's about it. I mean, it's just a more it's just less viscous than accurate there, Brianna. That's about it. You know, a bouncing water versus a slime. I could probably make another animation for rolling. Might be a good, like an attack kind of thing, you know. Okay, so then if we look at the game scene, we have the mob there. We're going to put the mob over here just so we can see it. Oh. We're going to go into the camera, and we're going to set it back to 1. And he is sitting on a layer that the player collides with. I may put the player on a visual layer that is higher than pretty much everything else. so that the player is generally visible. Right now, the player is rendered on a layer behind where the slime is. But yeah. I can change that by doing this. Now the player is in front of the slime no matter what. We'll see. Seeing that I'm kind of partial to this so that the monsters are always visible. It's kind of a 6 one way, half a dozen the other. You don't want a target that can hit you to be obscured, but you also want the player to know where they are, but that is handled by the fact that you're at the center of the screen. Anyhow, we have a critter now. We'll be able to make it face different directions like we want. We will also be able to make it move. The general idea is that it would chase the player. Its movement operation would effectively almost universally be draw a line to the player, move along that line at your speed. Once we've got that kind of creature done, the next kind are the sort like in Vampire Survivors, you have swarms of bats that appear and they like rocket across the screen without targeting the player. That's the other type that you would generally have. Kind that have a special, like, unique movement patterns. So I may create some, like, encapsulated logic for that sort of thing. But we made some good progress today. We do have the mapping working, so if we... I should bind the enter key to that. I mean, if we look, no matter where we run, there will always be screen visible. Come up with, long-term might have to come up with clean logic for how this goes. I might have to do some debugging to find out how much memory the program consumes if, say, I keep doing this. That is true. Slime-themed, like, plush is pretty good. I know there are Dragon Quest slime plushes. I bet there are Dragon Quest slime-themed beanbags. For a while, I had a slime-themed PlayStation 2 controller from the Dragon Quest 8 promotions. It could be like a little display piece when you sat it down, or you could turn it upside down and hold it, and it was actually a relatively comfy controller. The slime shape fit nicely between the hands, But we are making progress. We're making progress. So next time, what we're going to try to do is start getting some logic for the creatures spawning, pursuing, and also for it to be, if you leave range on them, that individual creature still exists but will re-enter the scene at another time. Like, we'll reuse it. Not entirely, but, something like that. It's akin to, in a lot of the games, if you outrun a boss monster, it will respawn at the edge of the screen after a bit of time. So you can never really get rid of them, But we'll get the logic for them appearing and pursuing the player first, and then we'll get logic for the player outruns them, what do we do? Then we start adding in things like health and damage on collision, and then we can start to add in the projectiles from the player and how they impact, damage, and remove monsters. Placeholder projectiles, and then we'll just iterate. We'll go more and more. I do occasionally poke this kind of thing outside of the stream, so there might be progress in addition to what you see next time. We'll see if I get to that. But in any event, I want to thank everybody for coming to join us today. If you haven't already, consider liking, following, subscribing, commenting, whatever the platform will let you do. All the buttons are good. So that the algorithms know what you like and can show you more if that's to you, and can show you more of what you like. Our next stream is going to be tomorrow. I'm probably going to do more programming on that stream later in the week. We're going to play some more Ace Attorney and then still more programming. We'll see how the schedule unfolds. If I'm doing this much coding, then I don't mind doing more streams. But we'll see. We'll see, folks. Again, thanks everybody for coming. I believe I do have it set to redirect to Hoodlum Calum's Donathon. If it's still going, we'll see. Folks on YouTube will have that happen. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.